This is the limestone lowdown. Hear the sound when you lie to the issues all around. From every corner, let's make it clear. The change we need is starting here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Limestone Lowdown. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to title this Behind the Mic in Our Own Words. So we're going to go just a little bit more personal and talk about our journey, not only of this podcast, but our journey within the struggle with the city, as we'll say it. Struggle with the mayor, struggle with Chris Seibert, and all that. And just be kind of like...
struggle with like getting this story out. I don't want to say like our truth, our story. We've spent 11 months doing our own research, our own investigating, pulling public information. It's not like we went and are privy to stuff. Like, we've used Google, and we took Google and it grew to something else through the state of Alabama. We did public records requests through the city. We've had other residents reach out to us with information, and then that sends us down a rabbit hole. And
well, let's talk about that for a second. That as we called it, the manna from heaven, that we would have stopped if this just didn't keep getting laid in our laps,
right,
falling in our hands. A lot of it we didn't even go looking for.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally people reaching out to us, keeping us going, and giving us new avenues to explore. Like I was saying, it's not like we sought this out.
Right.
We did not at all.
Right.
And it's almost like, I may even said it before. I know I talk to Amanda all the time about this analogy of Plato's cave. You know, it's you're in a cave, you've never seen the outside world, and you can only see shadows. And then one day you get out of the cave and you see the world for what it really is. There's no way you can go back to the cave and pretend anymore. And that's kind of where we're at.
Right.
Like, we can never go back to not knowing what we know.
Right.
We can never go back to just being blissfully ignorant of all this stuff going on right in front of our eyes, in front of our noses, whatever you want to say.
Well, and I've said it so many times, like, I wish I could unknow everything that I have uncovered. Also, you know, we've said it and we say it jokingly, but it's the truth. Like, when you're younger, you know, you're basically, if you do something wrong, like, you're going to be reprimanded for it. If you break the law, like, you're going to go to jail, etc. And so there's this healthy fear of doing right. And so when you uncover things of, you know, legal question, you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is an open and shut case.
Should be.
And the fact that things get overlooked, swept under the rug, minimized.
Because of who you are or who you know, or
Right.
all that, as everybody says, the good old boy system.
Right. Well, just like today on the What's Happening in Athens, there was a little business that set up in like the Walmart parking lot, and I guess they're serving some kind of treats or something. It's like, oh, per the mayor's office, like, we have to shut down. And I get it, like with food and things like that, like, you have to go through the proper business. But do you? Looking at that comment thread, because somebody made an ugly comment. She was like, no, actually the mayor's office did call me. So how is it within a matter of hours, the mayor's office is aware that somebody is doing wrong,
and they want to stop it?
And they stop that. And again, this isn't about what the business is, whether it be food, and it's two different things. The point is that this is something that is this same concept they found within an hour. And that's where all of this goes back to. You were telling me that we have a sitting city councilman that was overlooked by having city business licenses for over a decade, but yet a super small, just probably, just making treats and selling it at Walmart.
Basically the equivalent of a kid setting up a lemonade
stand. And we're like, oh,
shut it down.
Yeah. So the irony of it,
or the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. And that has been constant. That has been nonstop. And then the people that are scared to speak out, the people that support what we're doing, but they're like, we probably don't need to be so harsh. It's like, this is like, I'm angry.
I'm very angry. And as I've told Amanda several times, it's called righteous indignation for something that's going on right in front of your face. And I think we've talked about it a little bit before, but these people have came after us for simply asking questions and simply exposing a little truth. Like, they have come after our jobs. We have had people message us. Like, I remember getting out of church and a text went off, and I looked at it, and it was a threatening message. Like, we got threatening messages on Facebook. We get like scorn looks at us when we go in public, and we can tell exactly whose side they're on, just simply from that.
And we're not looking for you to pick a side, like, and support us. It's not about that.
It's about right and wrong.
That exactly. And so, and just to kind of give you a little bit about where we're coming from. So, this week's city council meeting, I brought up the fact that Chris Seibert is still doing illegal business in the city, that he's got a government business with a government cage code, that he has updated his information through the state of Alabama, through the government, through the Secretary of State. And that was something that back in September was said that he doesn't do and doesn't plan to do any sort of business with it. And so we're still allowing for him to operate business within the city illegally. And then Jared got up, and it did get a little loud. I wasn't the biggest fan of how it went down. But
let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fact of neither him nor Holly denied the relationship.
Yeah.
And I said it's highly inappropriate for you guys to be riding around. And he tried to say, we were documenting. And it's like, that is not your job. You have a building inspector to document this stuff.
So let's dissect that. So now we've had people reach out to us that have said Holly is his personal assistant. Number one, she's not. She is a communication and grants manager. Mind you, she used to be the communications specialist and grants coordinator, I believe. And he tried to pass making her a city administrator last April. Luckily, the council, who is, by the way, they may pretend like they don't know, but they are very well aware of this inappropriate relationship. They were like, we're not going to do this. You can go back and look at it's not on the meeting minutes because they pulled it from the agenda, but it's one of the city council meetings from April of 2024. I can't remember the exact date, but it's one of the two meetings in April of 2024. Watch the YouTube video at the business meeting. Harold Wells gets adamantly angry and says, I'm not voting for this. This changes everything about the city. We need a city manager. And then Ronnie Marks clapped back and was like, a city manager is an elected position. We put this in the budget. I have an open door policy and none of y'all have come to me. Dana Henry was the council president at the time, and she said that this changes the whole structure of the city, and she did not feel comfortable. They just pulled it from the agenda. So it wasn't talked about in the regular meeting. But these are things that go on. I mean, these meetings are held at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 95% of the population is at work. And
nobody watches the YouTube videos.
Yeah, sometimes we have like 50 views like on the YouTube videos. That's it. So nothing that's being passed at these meetings people know about. So he tried to pass to get her to be a city administrator. Fast forward almost a year later, he got her a big promotion to a manager position. And now there's Justin Travis that was hired. What is it that he's doing? Like, she's a manager. He needs to be doing, you would think that he would be doing the grunt work, or is Justin just Holly's glorified secretary?
Something. So, and you would think that
and she makes would be like over $100,000 a year. Like, ridiculous. She makes good money. So to call, just to say that's his personal assistant, they can be together on that.
Does he not have a secretary?
He does, Miss Kim Glaze.
I mean, come on now. Yeah. So the thing is, them riding around together. Not only riding around together, but always together. There's thousands of pictures. There's always side by side and everything else like that.
Well, the first time that we found out about it, we saw them together downtown, and she was like rubbing his arm.
And the fact of,
and this is in front of people, like this is in public, like people see this.
There's phone records, there's text messages, pictures going back and forth, hours,
like 11 o'clock at night, yeah. 5 o'clock in the morning,
not during business hours,
right?
And we have all the proof in the world, so. Just don't go with the thing of like, oh, you guys are making a mountain out of a molehill or something like that.
Yeah, because people are saying like, oh, they can be riding together like on that one Saturday. It's like, no, this was just...
Where's old Justin at? Right. Now, if he was in the back, it would be, I'm like, okay, I can't say anything. You know what I mean? The three of you. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable and normal. But it's always just the two of them.
And then also, like with the timesheets, like now she's saying that she's salaried and whatever else. But even when you're salaried, if you have to keep a proper timesheet, you still have to document when you're working. And so the way that it appears that with our current mayor being in his position the last 15 years, and there was a council member before that, they just are almost like free to do whatever they want. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. Let's talk about the trip to Scotland. In 2019, there was a trip to Scotland, and I still don't even understand the whole thing.
The city didn't approve it. The city council did not approve it.
The city didn't. It wasn't a trip funded by the city, but they were there on behalf of the city. And they acted as though like, oh, we paid for ourselves to go and we're representing our city well. That's a quote of what one of the comments that Holly
working
said.
A hellacious 10-hour day schedule.
Yes.
But she only claimed 8 hours. And
we're saying this because these were public records. This is public information. And whatever the person is, I guess like a HR person, certifying time.
Slosh.
Yes. She's the one who's signed off on this and asks like, hey, is Holly taking leave? And are you donating her leave? Does she need to like go in arrears? And that's when the mayor writes back and was like, we are working a hellacious 10 hours a day. I should have sent you a note beforehand. Funny thing, her timesheet doesn't claim 10 hours a day.
And then
I've traveled on work, so like
yes,
I know
both of us have.
I know how to do my timesheet to reflect my work travel. So
and then you have a company credit card or some kind of card or something that
for per diem, where you
Yes,
turn
your meals are, you're allowed so much to,
Yeah.
but there was no claim of that from either one of them.
Right.
So it's like, were you really?
Yeah. So
Suspicious.
then there was a receipt for the mayor used his city credit card for gifts for Scotland that he bought from the Arts League. There are just a lot of questionable things, and
it's okay for us to ask.
It's okay for us to ask, and it's okay for us to disagree.
Yeah.
If you think that as the mayor that you can just squander and do whatever you want with your city credit card, then that's fine.
And maybe this is the first time some of you guys are hearing this. He has an $18,000 discretionary spending account with no accountability.
And then the council passed that a few years ago.
And that's on top of his credit card.
No, the discretionary spending is like to do like donations, like, hey, I'm going to give the Arts League whatever. It's not his like physical spending. It's for his donations, like, hey, I want to donate money to this. And so basically, so he doesn't have to take it in front of the council and get that approved for every like nickel and dime. So they just gave him a ceiling of, hey, he can do whatever he wants for donations for $18,000 a year. One of the things that I found very interesting was there was, I'm assuming this is like one of like the mayoral conferences or something where he had a hotel.
Or was it the League of Municipalities?
League of Municipalities, one of the two. And he had a hotel, and there was room service for two, and
2 waters, 2 steaks. I mean, I don't remember. 2 coffees.
Basically 2 room service for
Yes.
2, and a late checkout. The late fee for the late checkout was $166. Now, I don't know how having a city credit card works. I know that traveling for my job, I can't pay for Jared's food if he's with me. Like, I get to pay for my own food. And so saying that it was room service for 2, and this was multiple things. This was like lunch receipts. I'm just talking about this particular one, because the $166 late fee, checkout fee, I don't see how that could have been approved. And then in one of the statements, he basically says he's not disclosing.
Oh, keep talking. That's what funny thing. That's what I was trying to find the exact wordage on that, and I have that on 11/2/21, requested via Kim Glaze, which is who?
The secretary.
That Mayor Marks, executive secretary, that meals changes have documentation as to who the meals were for and what business purpose of the expense. Ms. Glaze stated that Mayor Marks is not willing to provide this documentation per the city clerk dated 11/2/21.
So to me, if I had a city card and somebody said, hey, who was with you, because it's saying that you paid for 2 meals, hey, I'm with this official, or if I'm with that official, or hey, it was me and my spouse. But even then, I don't even think that like
He couldn't pay for her.
You're not supposed to pay for a spouse. So
It's city business only.
right. And so for him just to say, I'm not disclosing.
I mean, it would be like him and Harold Wells went out to eat. Okay,
Right, yeah.
City business or something. Even if it really wasn't, it would be like, at least it's a city official and a city official.
Right.
So it's just why would you not want to provide? I wouldn't want somebody to question me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would want to do everything possible to keep myself to a higher standard that nobody could question. Oh yeah, I was with so and so and so and so and whatever. Hell, I when I'm out, even if I'm working for a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I'm not frivolously spending something. It's like, okay, can I get that burger or I need to get the lesser burger? You know what I mean?
Well, and then too, like there was a something for the mayor's youth commission that Holly used the mayor's credit card and had it sent to her house in her name.
Ooh, big no.
Now, if Holly is the communication and grants manager and she's over the youth commission and she's doing things, then why doesn't Holly just have her own card? Why are we using the mayor's card?
I mean, I have a company credit card, and I would never in 1,000 years send anything to my house.
Yeah, no, right.
Like, even if whoever I'm ordering for, if I'm ordering for myself, somebody else, it always goes through work.
Right. And then we just recently did a records request asking for Chris Seiberts, like the penalties and fines that he had to pay, being in, like, not having city business licenses. They refused to do that per section, whatever, saying that we can't have it.
Legalese, as I call it.
And so that's something that, and again, like, they're just like doubling down. Like, he is not a, like, common Joe off the street. Like, he is an elected official. They made an entire statement about him. Mr. Seibert just became aware that he had to have city business licenses.
Bullshit.
That's the day in September of 2024 that Facebook comments have been cut off on the city page. We started, again, this is a fight and a battle that we started last July. And again, this isn't what we wanted to do. Asking the mayor, hey, what's going on within our city? And he was very smug, very arrogant, condescending.
And we have this, the call is recorded, so, you know what I mean? Again, we don't ask you to believe really anything we're saying. We just ask you, it's like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. Like, go and verify all this. This is all public records. This is all in the, the concerned citizens. All this paperwork and pictures and everything else is on this page. So anybody that wants to join, please do. And you can look at it yourself.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to believe me. I will give you the resources that I used or the documentation and just show it to you. We had somebody reach out and was asking us some stuff about the Arts League. So Holly, I think she is currently the president. Again, she was the president like 8 or 10 years ago. And then she was part of the getting the Scout House contract. So for $1 a year for 15 years, mayor signed off on it. Again, it's a nonprofit.
But let's talk about that a second. So we haven't exactly nailed down the timeline on it, but they were in the bigger building on Washington Street, and then had the Scout House too, and then they got a $60,000 grant to fix it up.
That's where I was trying to kind of tell this story with that.
What I'm saying, and then back to yours. What I just hit me today is, like, how long were they in Washington Street and simultaneously had the Scout House? Another nonprofit could have been using that instead of just sitting there dormant, waiting on them to do something that they haven't done. So, I hate to say it, but a nonprofit that's actually helping people versus enriching people's lives would seem like it would be a better fit for something like that.
Well, I just think, like, spreading the wealth, like you're saying, they were renting the High Cotton Arts on Washington before the bookstore, with the tornado at the end of the year. So it was just sitting vacant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
Another nonprofit
how many
could have been using it.
nonprofits would have loved to be able to afford the opportunity for $1 a year rent? And then, because, Holly is in the position that she's in, and because she's the president of the Arts League, and because she does grants for the city, they're working all of these things behind the scenes. And remember, we've said this multiple times. City council meetings are formality. The decision is made before you ever get to the council meeting. That this is something that we have seen. We have been to every single city council meeting since August of 2024. Every single one, not missed one. And there is a pattern. And I'm not saying that it's just here in Athens. This is most likely how all business is done. But it just makes you realize you're open to the corruption and the deception, because they will look you dead in the face and be like, "Oh, thank you. We hear your complaint. Oh, yes, yes." And like it, because it's a formality. The decision is made before you ever get to council. So the position that Holly is in, to be able to get to set this contract up. Again, nobody listens to city council. Nobody's at these city council meetings, so it just gets approved. And then there was an agreement, like Jared said, where the city gave the Arts League $60,000 to go towards the renovation of the Scout House. Why are we funneling money through the Arts League when the city already owns it? Like, why didn't the city just do the renovations themselves? You know?
I don't know.
So
So
they're in a. So I want to go over this because this is important. With the Arts League, in April of 2022, that's when. So Holly had stepped down as the president of the Arts League. Something about, I think, her mom being sick, and someone else took over. And then once this check was cut, not long after, she became the president again. So anyways,
wow, okay.
yeah. And so April of 2022, the city agreed to cut this check. I think the city gave half, and then the school board gave the other half of the money. Now
I was gonna say, didn't somebody question that? Why is the school?
Somebody did say, I support them getting the money, but I don't support taking it away from the school. But again, like, there's just such a low turnout. And so another thing that's been so hard for Jared and I is that some city council meetings, like, we're the only people there. And that's fine. But then now when we have stepped up and other people are like, this is slanderous, like, you don't know what you're talking about, making false allegations. People aren't there. Like, we're the ones that are here. Like, we've got all this proof. We've got all of this evidence. We have all of it.
And that's the maddening part, that nobody local is listening. Nobody local will cover it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, these mofos are getting away with it.
Yeah.
Because they've got the clamp on it.
Yeah.
Because she used to work for the Decatur Daily and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, back to Holly. She's a bully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, well, let's talk about the city council. Let's wrap up, and let me read my statements since they all got their statements. I mean, she said, come say that to my face after I called it out. And I'm like, I just did. And then she had to be restrained from getting in my face. And she said, let's take this to the parking lot. Like, what was she trying to accomplish with that?
Right.
Like, you going to fight me or something? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
I think that I told Jared this, like, I wish that it hadn't have gotten as elevated as it had. I wish it had remained calmer. I think that there's, like, more an effective way to call this out, but nonetheless, like, the bell's been rung with it.
And then Ronnie Marks puts out some statement about mudslinging and everything else like that, and it's like, well, let's talk about the 2020 election for a second. Yes. And Mr. Johnson. Yes.
So we talked to Russ Johnson. He ran in 2020. Phenomenal guy.
Great guy.
I didn't know him personally before any of this. I still don't know him personally. It was strictly a professional conversation that we had with him, and he talked about the pure hell that his family was put through during that election cycle.
Not by kindly old Ronnie Marks, no.
Yeah. He talked about he was Russ Johnson was on the school board for many years, highly respected in the community. We watched the debate that they had, and blew it out of the water. He sitting down with him and hearing his plans and his thoughts for this city. Had he won, he said he was going to run one term. He wanted to kind of just set the stage, fix the things that he saw wrong, and then he wanted to be done. He wanted to pass the torch.
Look at that.
He had some amazing ideas for growth, measured growth, planning that growth. And then he had some wonderful ideas for benefits for city employees. It was a breath of fresh air just hearing how intelligent he was and the ideas that he had. Hands down, won that debate. If y'all have not had a chance to watch, if y'all didn't watch it, and I encourage you to. But I think that Ronnie Marks started feeling the heat that, man, this is a candidate that could beat me.
Well, his first real campaign.
Right. This was the first time he was forced to run a real campaign. So the way that, and I think that we've talked about this on a previous meeting, episode, but Russ Johnson, there was 7 school board members. There was like 5 for each district, and then there was 2 at large. Russ Johnson, and I believe it was his campaign manager, were the 2 at-large positions.
Correct.
And I guess to try to have a smear campaign against him, he worked with the city attorney to get an Alabama Attorney General opinion.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Right. To say that, we don't need 7 school board members. We only need the 5. We don't need the at-large positions. And so the day Russ Johnson's mayoral campaign kicked off in 2020 was the day that Ronnie Marks got to remove him from the school board.
But also, what else happened? That was also when it came out about Trey Holiday in that same time frame. Or something about the sentencing or something. There's something that happened at that same time. Yeah. So it's like a double whammy.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, Ronnie Marks is running around saying, he's on the school board. He's on the school board. He's going to jail. You know what I mean?
What's funny is Ronnie Marks was in Scotland with Trey Holiday and his wife.
Before.
So
yeah.
He's the mudslinging. And then,
he wants to be the victim when anybody dares say anything to him. But he's all the time taking pot shots, and he's like, I'm the victim.
Yeah.
He's not the victim. He's the perpetrator.
So this has been this, and so hearing everything that, and remember, this was 5 years ago. This was not something, so this isn't something new. This is the MO. This is what, and we've had people reach out and be like, hey, I can't say anything because of blah, 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 blah. We've heard story after story. And look, I understand there are people that know Ronnie Marks on a personal level, that have a personal relationship with him, that think very highly of him. And guess what? It is perfectly okay that I do not have the same opinion of him. It is perfectly acceptable. I think that what is going on in our city is wrong. It's hard to be the person that's like, I don't want to say paving the way, because I'm not trying to like make people see what I see. I'm just trying to make people to see the truth.
Well, we've stuck our necks out, and as we have always said, courage is infectious. So I think people have seen us stick our necks out, so it's emboldened them a little bit to be brave. It's also emboldened people to tell us things like what's really going on.
Because then it goes back to like the defamation and the trespassing. We've had to retain an attorney. We've had to go through issues with work about disclosing being served with defamation paperwork, and I welcome the litigation.
Bring it on.
I would sit on the stand, right hand on the Bible, lift my hand to God, and everything that I'm telling you is factual. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to do your own research. I'm asking you to go back and look at city council meetings, read the meeting minutes, look this stuff up instead of taking my word or someone else's word. Do your own thought process. It's very easy to get caught up in the media, even at the national level, and just for whatever news media outlet, and for you to take on that opinion, form an opinion of your own.
So I would like to, with all the candidates and elected officials in this county talking about the political discourse and mudslinging and everything else, I would like to end this by reading my response to that. So people often engage in mudslinging and political discourse as if it's a novel phenomenon. However, it's been a persistent practice since the emergence of opposition for leadership. But what happens when someone labels something mudslinging when it's simply presenting the truth, backed by substantial evidence? A truth they refute and do not acknowledge that could potentially damage their reputation. It's incredibly easy to discredit someone when they express views you disagree with, especially when you hold all the power and control all the media sources. They attempt to discredit the messenger but fail to deny the so-called mudslinging as anyone who isn't guilty would. It's not the public's responsibility to prove guilt. That falls under the purview of the courts or the ballot boxes. However, as citizens and voters, we have a duty to inquire whether those making decisions adhere to the very rules they claim to uphold. When they fail to do so, we have a moral obligation to hold them accountable and seek their removal. We must demand better and stay informed about the true state of our beloved city. This isn't about partisan games, it's about public trust. In the city of Athens, this trust has been shattered by a long list of egregious actions by both the mayor and members of the city council. It's about transparency, the rule of law, the application of different standards based on who you are. It's about the deliberate avoidance of accountability. These aren't political attacks, they are basic expectations of those who govern us. Politics isn't for the weak-kneed or the slack-jawed individuals for these very reasons. We have to hold those who govern us to a higher standard, because if we don't, we end up with the lesser of us degrading us all.
That's all. It's very true. That's very, very powerful. Guys, we really appreciate you listening. We wanted to put this episode out to kind of tell our truth and the emotion.
Yeah, just be a little bit more rawer than we normally are.
This has truly been the hardest fought battle of my entire life thus far. This has been mentally exhausting, financially exhausting. It's been very trying. It's been a lonely place to be. Lost friendships over it. It's hard. I worry about retaliation on myself, coming after my family, my children. It's a very scary place to be in, and the only thing that we know to do is to continue to just tell our story and to get this out there. And we really appreciate you listening. And thanks for, joining us. So until next time.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Limestone Lowdown, where we break down the issues, keep you informed, and give you facts straight from the source. Remember, your voice matters. Your vote counts, and your community thrives when we stay engaged. Stay tuned, stay informed, and stay involved. Until next time, keep questioning, keep advocating, and keep shaping the future of the Limestone area. We'll see you on the next Limestone Lowdown.